Good afternoon. My name is Ashraf Hashim. I'm happy to be here to talk a little bit about the data prompt, India, as well as some information, quite a lot of slides about the food and beverage industry in India. I'll try to go through fairly quickly. This is the agenda. I'll keep it fairly brief. Data Prompt International has offices in Chicago as well as in India. We do work with various WIN members and multi-country research, but then we do a lot of work in India and as well as in the US. So I won't bore you with a lot of details. We pretty much use a lot of different techniques, tools and techniques and capabilities, because our base is in the US, where we get a lot of technologies. We also use traditional techniques and tools that apply to Indian market, where much of the research is done in the old-fashioned way. On the other hand, I would say we do research on iPad and tablets in India. There are markets, high-end markets, or in the stores, we do use iPads and mobile phones to conduct research. So we range quite a bit. So talking about the Indian business environment, I want to give you a quick sense what it looks like in India. So as you know, India market is as big as China, not as big, but pretty close. And the biggest issue are the trends in India now. The private sector is doing very well. And certainly there are more opportunities. And the cost of operations relatively still less expensive. The bad part, or limitations in India, is the infrastructure and price sensitivity. Still people are, the large amount of people still looking for value and better price. And of course, the government is big on tariffs, taxes, and more taxes. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about the food and beverage industry market in India. As you know, it's a billion people, billion plus people. It's a huge market. And these are all facts that I won't go into details. Certainly produce a lot of grains, a lot of dairy products, milk and all kinds of things, as well as the seafood industry. And here are some numbers. Certainly the biggest category seems to grow in the marketplace are the four in the bottom and the food categories: curd, yogurt, flour, savory snacks, edible oils, yogurt drinks, fruit juices, and energy drinks, and sports drinks. And as you can see, we'll see another slide later, the biggest consumption, biggest money spent on the Indian market is on food, apart from saving money. Here are some numbers. As you can see, some of the growth areas, again, I won't go into too much details. Beverage 11%, confectionery 11%, savory 10%, and meat and dairy again 10%. Pretty substantial growth. And but the one thing that you have to keep in mind, the economy is slowing down from 7% to 4.5%. What that means is that the industry or the consumers are very sensitive to reduce their spending on discretionary items. You can see the orange bars going down compared to the blue bars is the previous year. And that means you have to pay attention to which product category that you are going into, the market, how you need to price it, and so forth. Okay, here are some players, big players, many of them Indian companies, some of them are international companies. Each of them have their own areas of focus, and they're all doing quite well. It's a growing market compared to China. Consumers are in India is growing. Here is some opportunity for the marketers and the manufacturers. As you can see, when it comes to packaged goods, there's still huge amount of unorganized, small-scale opportunities for certain product items if you want to focus on a certain, let's say, frozen food or a certain, let's say, agricultural products you want to package and sell in the convenient packages and stuff. There are opportunities. And the coffee and tea market is there, but it's not growing that much. A little bit of what you will see. But here is some information you want to know when it comes to some of the opportunities in the beverage industry. You can see some of the claims some of the food industries, some of the beverage industries asking for, or at least claiming all natural product and low, no reduced sugar, vitamin, mineral fortified, environmental friendly package, and so forth. Having said that, the biggest market is still carbonated industry. It's kind of a little bit of a contradictory situation. Of course, you know why. The carbonated market, compared to China, India is a little behind in terms of marketing, so they still have a lot of opportunities to grow. However, the health focus is getting to be more important. As some of you know, India is going to have the highest number of consumers with a rabid, health issue. Here are some categories that are going to be growing rapidly. Functional drinks. I'm sure you heard of Gatorade. Our vitamin drinks are going to grow. We are projecting about 133% next few years. Same thing with the bottled water. Still, it's a growing area. Juices. From Thailand perspective, this could be an opportunity. You may want to look into it. So there are some differences between India's, given that it's such a large country. You look at the region, there are differences. South and West tend to consume more, there are more items they consume when it comes to ice cream, when it comes to milk products, a lot more than North and the East. When it comes to carbonated products, it's pretty much the same. Again, the West and South tend to consume more. And when it comes to beer consumption, maybe it is to do with the weather. As me, there's more consumption in South and West again. So it's doing well. Here's some information. Again, I won't bore you with too much details here. The channel distribution still traditional in India. Over 7 million, you can see stores, well actually 7 million total. If you look at it, first two lines, the provision stores, small outlets dominate the market still. The supermarket or Walmarts of the world they're not getting any opportunities for political reasons. In fact, Walmart pulled out from a joint venture the last 2-3 weeks. So any kind of channel distribution or strategy that you're planning for need to be involving at least the top 3 type of traditional stores or distributors and partners. But then I must say, when it comes to cities where the city population is growing, there are local chains, hypermarkets are coming into play in big cities, which are growing very rapidly, and the consumers have a lot more money to spend, and they want to go and look for packaged and branded products more so than in the smaller cities and the villages. So I'm not going to go, I already mentioned to you about the tea and the coffee market. The tea market is growing a little bit more than coffee market, but not a whole lot of improvement. When it comes to some of the flavor preferences, you can see, mango, which is a very popular flavor, common with Thailand and Asia regions here, and oranges and a few other flavors dominate the market. And just quickly, going to go into some of the consumer behavior. Still, Indian food is very, very popular, and however, there are differences by region. Here's a picture. I will let you take a look at it. There are a lot of differences. There are, as you may all know, some of you know, there are 25 different languages, official language, at least 25, and there are a lot more dialects in India. And that makes it very challenging for communication, as well as marketing folks to get the message across to people. And then also there are differences in terms of food habits, even though some of them are common in certain areas. Like, for example, in the case of South, in this area, they love hot food. Curries are very common, I'm sure that Penang curry will go very well in South, more so than North. So there are differences, but also in Kerala, like some of the coastal area, seafood is very, very popular. On the North, tend to be there's a lot more of, interest in the dairy products and not so spicy food. Again, I will skip this. Here is another slide describing the kind of food differences among the consumers. South and Northeast tend to eat rice and prefer very similar to Thai food. And when it comes to North Central and West, tend to use wheat and vegetables and meat. 60% are the non-vegetarians, but then because the meat is expensive, even the non-vegetarian don't eat meat all the day, all the time. That means there's a lot of consumption of vegetables and the regular staple food, rice and so forth. But here's an opportunity. Given that there's a lot more interest in the convenience food, there may be exporting opportunity for both seafood, convenient food to Indian market. So as I told you, the food is the one biggest expense in India. There are trends in India when it comes to big cities, even the medium cities. As you can see, on the left side, breakfast to dinner, traditional food, now switching to omelets, pizza, and burgers. Yes, still small population. I think it's going to continue to grow. Here are some popular brands. Certainly, some of the international trends when it comes to convenience and consumption that's taking place. In India, Maggi noodles are very popular. The frozen foods are getting popular, given now the infrastructure is slowly improving and the power interruption has an impact, but nevertheless, people buy frozen food so they can consume easily and cook conveniently. So here is a couple of slides about how to do business in India. And just before that, I just want to show you some of the companies who are already doing business in various areas. I'm sure some of you are familiar with these. Many of you are familiar with these companies. Sorry. All right. If you want to do business in India, you've got to have local presence. It's a huge country, so many different languages. You could certainly decide whether you want to be at a national level or a regional level based on what kind of products you're marketing. If it is juices and beverages, you could go nationally. On the other hand, if you're marketing certain spices and so forth, you can select certain market. You need to be very sensitive to the local markets, the taste and the interests and so forth. Like in Indonesia, there are sections of population, Indian Muslims, don't eat pork, and you need to be very careful not to market what McDonald's does not have. I don't think it markets pork in their outlets, even in the cities where they are. So you got to be very careful. Power infrastructure is a big problem. It's easier for you to sell your juices and beverages in Tetra Pak rather than something that requires a lot of refrigeration and stuff. And importing and distributing could be very expensive. Of course, you need to keep in mind the corruption. So I won't go into that. And also India is big, even though the labor issues have gone down, but still there are problems we are going to be manufacturing over there. It is getting to be very tough in food and beverage industry, the competition I mean. There are quite a few players, both local as well as international players. You really need to choose your partners. You need to really choose your product and your marketing strategy, how to get into the market. And certainly our WIN members here as well as others could help you. Here are the key takeaways. It certainly is growing, as you can see, even though economy is only growing about 4 or 5%, many other food categories are growing very rapidly. And certainly it is the biggest spend in the country. The third, traditional cuisines and consumption habits slowly giving way for trying out different things. Why not I try pizza today? Why not I try Thai food tomorrow? And if you make it convenient, certainly there are more opportunities. Local relationship and strategies are critically important for you to be successful. Very much.